when you went up that time?
No. They were
that
like
time.
separate. Like I said,
Okay.
they were studying. They knew of Jahome. That's what he put it. We know of Jahome, but we don't know him. And you have a relationship with him. We just want to understand that.
And so when Jahome would come in and see you, visit you, what kind of things would he engage with you about?
Oh my gosh. I drove Sheila crazy.
Tell her about the author of the book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a wild.
This was really wild for me, spooky. I'm telling a bookstore clerk about our experiences. Sheila's not with me. And she was one of the water nymphs later.
Not me, the girl.
Yeah. And so, anyways, while I'm telling her the experiences, the owner of the bookstore comes over and hands me a book, and it says, "It's Time to Remember." It's written by this lady named Joy. She said, "You probably want to look at this book," because she was recognizing a lot of the experiences as similar. And I said, okay, so I bought the book. And went home and read it. I said, it was an easy book to read, and I just went right through it. I went, oh my gosh, and I need to talk to this author. And so I went to call her. What I did is I called the publishing company to find out how do I talk to her. And I called it, and it was in the old days when the old tapes.
Answer phones.
The old answer phones and tapes, and there were actually a plastic tape that fit in there. And explained the publishing company, and then all of a sudden it goes, zzz, you could hear the rewind. Okay, oh crud, what happened? And so I hung up, and I called back, and now it's a completely different person that's not talking on the phone. And all I did is come in and says, now press 1, press 3, give me about 5 numbers to press. And when I did, it broke into her private messages. And there was a woman on there all excited to hear she was coming to town. And she says, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you since high school and blah, 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 And this Joy was traveling around the world and the country talking to big groups. And
About aliens. About aliens.
About aliens.
Encounters.
Well, that's what the book was all
Yeah.
about, trying to remember the alien experience. And so, and I called her, and I did tell her, I said, this is going to sound wacko, but Joy, Joy wrote the book, blah, blah, blah. And she says, no, it doesn't sound wacko if it's about Joy. Yeah. So that's the cute part of it. She said she'll tell her.
Well, she said to call her, and she left her phone number. And so David calls the girl that left her phone number. She said, no, there's no way you can get into Joy's private message. You can't do that. Her phone is not set up that way. There's no way you can do it. He said, how do you think I got your phone number? How do you think I got it to call you?
But
And she's
the
like,
thing was, you can get into it, but you have to know the code
yeah.
to do that. And so this voice gave me the code. But what happened next was I'm running Motel 6, and I have a private office, and all of a sudden, I get this call. Oh, they come and say, David, I got a call for you. You want to take it? I said, yeah. And it's Joy. And she says, hi, David, this is Joy. And I said, well, hi, Joy. I have people complaining, people, talk to them all the time. So I didn't put it together. And she says, David, Joy, the author of the book you want. And I went, oh my God, So anyways, she said she was doing a book signing in Eugene. And she says, if you can meet me there, we can talk. I said, okay. So Sheila and I went. I want to tell this part because it was just so freaky for me. As we walk in, Joy looks up and sees Sheila, and Sheila sees her, and they start crying. They knew each other from the spaceship.
Here goes my licking eyes.
But they knew, it was just, and I'm watching them go, oh, and they hug each other. We haven't seen each other in so long.
I'd never met her before that I knew of.
But she did know her.
Yeah.
You know, that's a,
And was it a visual knowing or a feeling, like, you know, or how did you?
It was like a feeling, like I'd known her all my life. You know, you meet somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, I met this person. I've known them forever. I know who they are. And that's exactly what ours was. It was like, oh my gosh, I knew her and she knew me.
well, what I saw was like they recognized each other, and old friends from way back. That's what I perceived. So I don't know, you can explain what happened to you inside there.
That's I just told her that's what it was. It was like I'd known her all my life. Like I'd seen her and known her.
So that was kind of, you know, this out of the blue, this book brings them together with a memory of being up on the ship together. You know, I thought that was too wild.
So have you ran into Joy or seen her again?
Well,
since you
after
met
our
her?
meeting, after we saw her initially at that place, we all had dinner together, remember?
Yeah.
A bunch of us had dinner together and talked about all kinds of stuff, but we really didn't have a, after that, didn't she kind of disappear?
She did. What happened was
Not by any means of anything, she just left.
her desire was to learn to heal the way they healed, and to ride around with them in the spaceship. And then she just disappeared one day.
And she had told me about how she looked out the window one day and there was this big, huge
When
spaceship
she was in her car.
in her backyard or somewhere. Where was it that she saw it? I mean, it was like,
Well, it followed her on the road until she got home, and followed her right home. And I don't remember too much after that.
and you know what? About 2 years ago,
Oh, I got the book. I can find the book.
about 2 years ago, we were driving home. Where were we coming from? And we were going down Charleston. Was it Charleston? We
Oh, God,
were going
yeah.
down Charleston. Okay?
And we had-
and I'm sitting there in the car, it's at night, and all of a sudden, I look and I said, David, what is that? And I mean, it was a perfect spaceship. Hovering
disc, it was
above
a
our
disc.
car. Huge. I mean, it took up the whole entire
area.
sky.
Well, here's a spaceship, and as we approached it, and Sheila brought it to my attention, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you could almost hear it, oh, you know, the noises. And as we approached it, it didn't go anywhere. We
It just
drove
stayed
under
there.
it until he came out the other side of it. We weren't in it, but I mean, underneath it, till we got the other
And we
side of
looked at
it.
the news
And in
the next day and
reference-
everything to see if anybody else saw it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in reference to your car, what was the size, and did anybody around you look like?
I
they
would
were
say
seeing it?
it was probably the size of a football field.
Oh, it was
Oh,
huge.
wow.
It was huge.
Wow. But
Huge
nobody
thing.
around you seemed to even
No.
register that it was there.
And it wasn't on the news.
Yeah.
Nobody else saw it. I mean, it's like,
And we're just like, you know,
hey.
and we both saw it. We're like,
Because
you
I
know.
showed it to him. I said, he was still driving then. And I said, look at. And I'm looking at it and watching it. And you can plainly see the lights underneath and the circular disc. And it was like,
over Sahara, right? It was right.
Sahara,
we had
yeah, it
just left the tower,
Stratosphere.
stratosphere.
stratosphere. We just left stratosphere, and here was this big spaceship.
Oh, it
We
was
didn't,
something.
you know, and we don't have what Joy explained, that's why she says it's time to remember. If you're taken by the aliens, it may not come out of your memory right away. But she said that, like,
And that's the other thing. Remember I told you they did the thing on my wrist? Well, when we met Ron, the guy at the radio
Oh,
place,
yeah.
when we met Ron, we told Ron about that. And he said, let me talk to them. And he did, and he came back and he said, and because I thought they were putting things in my wrist, is what it looked like they were doing. And he said, they were actually taking them out. They have been in there since you were a child. And I'm like, whoa. And I guess they didn't need me anymore because I couldn't have children and I couldn't whatever, you know, so they didn't need my DNA or whatever they were taking or using. They didn't need it anymore, so.
So were they taking your eggs? Do you know?
I don't know.
If
I
you
don't
don't
know about
yet?
that. All she knew was the wrist.
Right.
I mean, that was her
I did have
curiosity.
severe endometriosis, so I don't know if that had anything to do with
I
them
just know
messing with
when-
me.
Right, when you make the comment because you couldn't have children anymore, a lot of times that's what they were doing, is they were taking them, if you were of that age group, they were taking your eggs to create this,
Possibly.
you know.
And they could have, but we,
Yeah, I would love
Nobody
to do
knows.
a session with you and go explore that. I would love to do that. We're gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
yeah.
David too.
Well, you can go after her. Well, I mean, she's one of them.